Before we start, I'd like to thank bugaboomock for letting me use their story in tonight's video. Okay, when I was in middle school, I was stupid and decided to play with a Ouija board with one of my friends. We ask a few questions and never get a response, but the lights in my room flickered off for a few minutes, so we freak out and put it away and sleep with the lights on that night. After that night is when I started feeling a presence in my closet where I put the Ouija board. I had to end up wrapping a scarf around my closet doors because they would randomly open during the night, and sometimes some of my clothes that were hung up would now be 1.5 to 2 feet away from the closet right by my bed. Well, a few years later, I see my first entity. I don't exactly know what it was. All I know is that it's the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was asleep and woke up, and it's around 3 in the morning, and I feel uneasy, like someone is watching me. I look around and see a figure in the corner of my room. It was a man, about average height, black, greasy, slicked back hair like a greaser. Skin was an unnatural pale. Around the eyes was black and looked sunken in. He had a clean white shirt on and dark carpenter blue jeans on. The knees were worn and there were a few other tattered places on his pants. He was very skinny. As I saw him reaching up, I threw on the lamp next to me and thank God he disappeared. I couldn't leave my room, I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't seem to make any words leave my mouth. I was so terrified. I ended up turning on my bedroom light and falling asleep with all the lights on in my room. I told my mom the next morning, but she didn't believe in the paranormal yet. A lot of weird things happened, mainly to me in the house and other places, but no one ever really believed me. Fast forward a few years, and I'm 20, and had moved out of the house, and my uncle came to live with my parents in my old room. One night, he ran to my Nana's room next to his, crying, shaking, and hyperventilating. She finally gets him to tell her what happened. He woke up to 3 people around his bed. All the people were wearing white shirts and carpenter pants. He said that he had the feeling they were there to take him away. Well, the next morning, my Nana made a comment to my mom about it, and she asked him what they each looked like. One was extremely tall and skinny, one was average and skinny, and one was short and fat. But all had greasy black hair, sunken-in eyes, and extremely pale skin. After he told my mom that, she called me and asked me to explain what I saw in the room a few years prior. Since then, she's become a believer. That was the scariest experience. When I was 17, I had to work late and was coming home around midnight. There's this corner at a stop sign that has a big green power box that I had to pass to get home. I swear nothing was at that corner when I was driving up, but once I got to the corner and had to stop, all of a sudden, there was a group of teens at that corner varying in height, age, and race. Some were sitting on the green box, others were standing. One of the teens, as I'm stopped, gets off the green box and starts walking towards the car. I immediately make my turn and drive off, look in my rear view mirror, and there wasn't a group of teens there anymore. They were just gone. I called my now husband to tell him about it, freaked out, and he knew exactly what corner I was talking about, because the same thing happened to him once. I moved into my current house about 5 years ago. It's supposedly brand new. That's BS since it's more than 5 years old. They just remodeled and called it new. Well, the first year it was weird. Things would go missing. When we woke up in the morning, things would be in different places than when we went to bed. We would hear a bunch of stuff in the house. I always felt something watching me. Since it hasn't done anything malicious, we left it alone thinking maybe it's just something mischievous that likes to play tricks. Well, after the first year there, we had our son. That's when things got even more strange. Our electricity would randomly shut off then come back on. The baby monitor would randomly shut off in the middle of the night, so we ended up moving him into our bedroom. Around the time he turned 1, we decided he could go back to his room to sleep at night. I got a new baby camera just to be sure I would know what he was up to in his room. I woke up one night and he was crying for Mama, so I went in to grab him. His room was on the opposite end of the house. As we're walking back to the room, he just keeps wailing, "Mama, Mama, Mama." I'm shushing him and letting him know I have him, and he continues to wail, "Mama, Mama." Well, we get to my room and he lifts his head and looks over my shoulder, and sounding relief, he says, "Mama," and stops fussing. I think it's weird, but don't feel anything negative around me, so I bring him into bed to cuddle. The night, he's too wired to sleep, and we're all up a bit late. We finally get him to start winding down for bed, so I leave him in the bed with his dad so I can go potty before bed. And then I start hearing my son laughing and saying, "Silly, silly, yay!" I scold his dad for playing with him when he just calmed down. The next morning I tell my husband he better not start playing with our son before bed like that again, or he'll have to put him down. That's when he told me, "Babe, I didn't want to freak you out last night, but I wasn't playing with him. He was facing away from me." We blessed the house shortly after. There was a decrease in activity, but didn't stop. I haven't felt anything bad. My son is now 4 and has a best friend that apparently lives with us. He can tell us things about her that concerns me at times. I think it might be a ghost or something. Hello everybody, I am the Dead Giant, and thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed tonight's story, please leave a like and subscribe. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is, wherever you are.